we need to talk. I just stayed up until like 1 o'clock in the morning last night, finishing a book. Actually, I stayed up until 12 and then I couldn't settle myself down after that. So I stayed up until 1. But it's called If You Tell by Gregg Olsen. And this is the most intense book I've ever read in my entire life. The most intense true crime, probably the most intense book in general. Like, this book is just insane. So I don't know if I want to tell you too much about the true crime part because basically I just kind of was like, oh, this is really bad. Oh, this is really, like, it just kept getting worse and worse and worse and worse. So I would say don't read the flap or anything. I haven't read it. I don't know like what it says, but yeah, just don't know too much about it until you go into it. But if you're interested in true crime or nonfiction, you should definitely read it. It kind of follows this woman named Shelley, and it talks about her childhood, which was an absolute hot mess. And so the book just starts off horrible, and then it just keeps getting worse and worse and worse. So when Shelley was a little kid, her mom was a hot mess. She was an alcoholic and she probably was super abusive. No one really knows like what her childhood was like. But basically her dad divorced her mom, and then her dad married this other girl who he tricked her into thinking that he was only 4 years older than her when he was actually 10 years older, which is a big deal because when they got married, the girl that he married was like 16 or 18 or something, like super, super young. So he tricked her regarding his age, or he lied about his age, I should say. They get married, and the next day someone calls and is like, when are you gonna pick up these effing kids or whatever? And she didn't even know, the new wife didn't even know that her new husband had kids, and now they need to go live with them. So they inherit Shelley and her brother. There is one more child, but he's a baby, and so the mom decides to keep him. I don't really know. So Shelley is like the most controlling kid ever. I think she's 6 when this family originally gets her. She basically is just absolutely defiant. She wants her way and she will only do things her way. She has a brother that comes with her and he will not even talk. Shelley does all the talking for him, which is just absolutely bizarre. And sometimes apparently he had been seen in his room just sobbing. Like, when he was alone, he would just break down in tears. So you don't really know exactly what they've been through, but you know the mom's an alcoholic and you know things were probably bad. Well, then the mom is murdered, and so finally this family gets the other boy too, who is now a little bit older. They never really say how old he is, but he's old enough to like sit at the table, and like he's not a baby. But he is completely feral when they get him. He does not know how to sit at a table. He does not know like anything. He'll just like jump up on the counters when he wants food and like just like rummage for food. Like, I don't even know, just a feral child, right? And so they really, really, really struggle with these 3 kids, but they kind of get the feral boy like a little bit more involved in normal behavior. He still really struggles. And then there's like the selective mute middle child, and he's really struggling, just very like kind of depressed and stuff like that. And then there's Shelley, and as she gets older, she gets more and more malicious, where she is doing things intentionally to hurt people, including like breaking glass and putting it in people's shoes. So that's horrible. And then of course she grows up and becomes a mom herself. And so this is the story of her as a mom and her 3 daughters that she has. And it is so graphic, so heartbreaking, so horrible. Like, I don't even know what to say. I have never read a story of abuse that is as horrible as this one, so trigger warning. And I've never read a book as graphic as this one. And I think that it's not so much like what happened, but it makes it more graphic because you know that it's real. And so, yeah. If you are interested in that, then you might enjoy If You Tell by Greg Olsen, but just buckle up and be ready. I read this in one sitting because I needed to finish. So anyway, I hope you guys would enjoy this book, but I just had to tell you about it because it was so good. Talk to you guys later. Bye.